with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. There's lion blood in my chalice, a goat heart in the balance. I speak in italics, discussing these chances. In the Eiffel Tower of Paris, by chariot, the color is metallic. A wonderland to Alice, it's all blunder and malice. Best talent that's combined with magic. Behind the static, there's voices in the shadow. The only choice is battle. Hop into Hellcat and skedaddle. They watching King Kong climb the Tower of Babel. Ignore every Eve trying to give me an apple. The little rascal that can't be canceled. In the courtyard of my castle, these hens doing nothing but cackle. Now they walking in my chapel with candles that's lit. Definitely with the shits, cause we handle it. Met with the building that is brick by brick. Old Mac, big head, can't tell me shit. Capoeira with the spiral kick, spit hieroglyphs when the tyrants sit at the Coliseum. Whether spies or allies, I know them when I see them. Greet them with an olive branch, that's for the treason. Watch Pocahontas rain dance for the season. Is he still breathing? After the execution, they blame spirits and start the accusing, and then survive every disaster and delusion. Supreme mathematics, the author of confusion. Niggas be cheating and they still losing. Bones in my blank keep me tuned and influenced by the moon sin. A lunatic in the truant skin, a boogeyman with a heart like a ruby gem. A whirlwind, I twirl in the middle of tornadoes. Between riddles and fables, keep my Glock on the table. Shot of scotch keeps me stable. Watching divas belly dance with diamonds in their navel. We rode on sound waves that was wavy for a label. And while you getting hung by the TV cable, I was ready and able. The black amour that raised you from the grave to the cradle. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. Half man, half goat face, hugger tugging on my throat. Dinner tail became the spine, spread the nervous system, travel through time. The third eye of the mind, sunshine to the blind. Ignite liquid light, create breath and sight. So when the stars in dark fight, pterodactyls are born. Dinosaur, lizard in natural form. After ages, epochs, blizzards and storms. It is ice age as we sharpen bronze blades. First art is drawn on the walls of the cave. My dead ain't God save Abel from Cain. And the Cain became man of the land. This is Canaan with a K9 by my side at all times as I ride from Nubia to Jerusalem. Babylon was built, flying in Hindu on magical guilds. From the coat of the bull to Bullock's milk, you will mummify the pharaoh in black and gold seal. This my only arrow, keep my eye on the sparrow. I keep my eye on the sparrow, cause this my only arrow. This my only arrow, keep my eye on the sparrow. I keep my eye on the sparrow, cause this my only arrow. El Shaddai, Mount Sinai, Aquila the eagle, we fly high. Got the wise guy, a child of Israel, but is he real? And did he kill? Whatever done on this battlefield, it is God's will. When I dance in your skin, I got no chill, then blood spill. On the wheels of the chariot, we carry it to Greece. We seek war and peace, create hordes and streets. Lupinar on a leash, birth the Byzantine peace. From the west to the east, village to village, for a medieval feast. Sprinkle acid in your yeast and lead in your wine. A crown for the clown as we rewrite time. Kings and queens deserve everything that we find outside of the garden of the lights. Baby, it's all crime, only marriage will cry. Saints pay no never mind till the witches start to fly. Laugh at the traitor that's amputated and fried. That's my only arrow, keep my eye on the sparrow. I keep my eye on the sparrow, cause that's my only arrow. souls are void, but don't make no noise. The natives will get you and eat you alive. After I gather their gold, I'll be wearing their hide. Without a godfather clock, the Mayans don't know time. Nobody's equal without the equine. Amigo and Negro, hung from a thin line. Cartels and Sambos, have some fun and some wine. From the boat to the dollar, we operate by the sign. Is it lies that we have? Stab the flag in the land, the moon in the sand. Put your hands behind your back for the contraband. Now we let Glocks demand. Souls to the black hole, is that cold here? Open a can of whoop ass, on me hold my beer. As we dance with the carcass and we piss on fear. This is the money religion and our God is clear. This my only arrow, keep my eye on the sparrow. I keep my eye on the sparrow, cause this my only arrow. This my only arrow, keep my eye on the sparrow. I keep my eye on the sparrow, cause this my only arrow.
Yo, what's good? As you see, the title of the video is the 33rd degree sale. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here today. I guess it's gonna be based upon our interaction and who's engaging and how many people show up. As of right now, you can get all 10 books, Kicked Out of Heaven, Volume 1, 2, 3, The Black Man's Bible, The Ethereal Law Paperback, and the 4 ebooks, all for $100. Okay, for number one. For number two, I do have what we call the 33rd degree sale, where all 3 volumes of Kicked Out of Heaven is now at $33. That also includes shipping and handling. And what will occur is I won't be giving any signature to it, but we're doing it. I'm overstocked. I need to get rid of the rest of the stock that I have of this material. So it's come to this point. And it's at $33 right now, so you could rush to get it, and it will be rushed to get to you. Okay, and that's just the bottom line to what's going on here at 33rd degree, and that's how we're gonna run it. You know, I really don't have too much to go in on, about what's going on in the world or anything of that matter. It doesn't really matter, I guess, what I have to say about those issues, but that's just what it is. It's Friday, July 11th. It's been a crazy month. It's been a crazy year. And we don't know what's going to be coming for the rest of this year. Hopefully some good things come, because it's the Chinese year of the snake, and a lot of people have been snaked, and a lot of people have turned into snakes. And that's just the way, people want to operate. You know what I'm saying? It's the time period of the Kali Yuga. And that's just what it is out here, So I definitely wanted to put it out here in the space that this sale is now available. Anybody can go get it. Just go to kickedoutofheaven.com. And that's where that's at. All raffles are still in place as well. But there hasn't been enough tickets sold for a raffle to take place. So maybe that's my fault. Maybe I took too long of a break, or I had to do some things last month, and people are just more worried about what's feeding them, and they're not really concerned about what's going on with the person that is doing the feeding, obviously. So, it's a very inconsiderate mentality the majority of the world has, and we definitely see that by the defamation of a lot of people's characters. For instance, so many people talked so much shit and defiled the name of Trump so bad, and I guess they're surprised by his backlash. Why would you be surprised with the way you treated him, the way you clowned him, the way you talked about his wife, the way you supported news channels that did said activity, the way you tried to categorize him into a space that he wasn't at? Why are you surprised by the way he moves and the decisions that he makes? Even if it's retaliatory. I don't really think a lot of the stuff that he's doing is retaliatory. I believe he's been dealing with a lot of, social abuse and social defamation for a very long time. But the funniest thing about it is the activity of the people who feel as if there's no consequence for anything that they say or do, whether you are involved or whether you're not involved, whether you know, and they don't think there's any form of consequence, and there's always a consequence for all of your actions, and we see that now. A lot of people have a problem with being pleasant, and the reason why they have a problem with being pleasant is because they've been weak in nature. They haven't won any fights. They haven't won any battles. 9 times out of 10, they were probably on the losing end streak of whatever abuse may have been going on inside their life, and they think they can just affect that upon strangers, and then there's going to be no type of counterattack to those activities. So when you're dealing with people who have that type of mentality, well, what are you doing? What is the point of even dealing with people who operate in said fashion? There's a lot of soulless motherfuckers out here who want to attack people who have souls. And that's just the name of the game. This is war. It's always been war, and people want to blind you as if it isn't war, as if there isn't attacks going on. And it's just a high level of retardation with the way our society is operating and with the way people operate with each other. There's a lot of imposition of lies. There's a lot of, upholding of lies. And this is on a multitude of levels, everywhere from presidents and government all the way down to your local McDonald's. That's what is going on, and that's how people want to move and operate. So, I don't move in that fashion. You can't survive in that fashion. Negative activity is going to get a negative response, and people don't see that because they're not doing wholehearted. They're not doing hardcore negative activity. They're waddling the fence and playing this little pussy role. And a lot of people stay on the fence with the pussy role, and they can't choose, one way or the other, or what side are they on. Me, I'm definitely not going. I'm on my side, definitely. I'm on the side of intelligence, and that's all I'm going to represent. I really don't care about what race is what. I love all races. I have no problem with any race on this planet, personally, or publicly, whatever, in private, whatever. I have no problem with no race. But I do identify things for what's going on and how they're operating and how they affect me and how they affect other individuals like me. And that's just what I present, So, if we got any questions or if anybody want to say something, go ahead. I'm free balling right now. There's no real hardcore subject, but the fact that I'm selling the Kicked Out of Heaven for $33, you can go to kickedoutofheaven.com and get it right now. I expect you to. Even if you already have a copy, if you understand appreciation, if you understand gratitude and have gratitude in your system because you were raised by people who give a fuck, then you would cop it anyways and just leave it in the corner in the box. There's many individuals who have called me up and told me that they purchased extra copies of my material and put it in safes because it's actually written in a way where it's actually written in a way where you can rehabilitate civilization from the material that I've written. And I've done that because I understood that we are definitely in a crash course test, and a lot of people are not aligning themselves with their responsibilities of the uphold of society. So therefore, with the lack of intelligence and also the enforce of ignorance, society will crumble. And that's the stages that we're in right now, because everybody thinks shit is a fucking joke. A lot of people think everything is funny, and a lot of people think it's okay to waste all your money and time inside the club. We got casinos popping up everywhere. We got a lot of ladies who's just locking their children in the car while they go get cosmetic surgery, and while they go to the casino for hours and their children die in the vehicles. There's a lot of this shit all over the news. And people act as if they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act, and they think it's somebody else's responsibility to control what they got going on or try to direct their lives or whatever the fuck they got going on. And, you know, the lack of responsibility is just crazy. So, you know, I just wanted to put that out here. Like I said, if somebody has any questions or anything, go ahead and put them up. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I really don't got the energy for this shit right now. I'm going to tell you the truth, as I've always said the truth, but the truth is disturbing to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? People think that I should be here for their benefit. And, you know, it's been a lot of years. I've been doing a lot of teaching online, and I got to focus more internally on what's going on in my household and what's going on with my sons. And that's far more important than, you know, trying to satisfy screen names who don't really understand what support is. And nor have I really put myself out here to say I need support, blah, 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 blah. I don't really move like that. I operate off of tangible products, you know, and you should have those tangible products, you know, and that's just the way I move with things. You know, I think it's better to lead by example with the element of production than to lead by example with false dreams, like we have with the situation of Umar Johnson, who's been sitting up here 10, 15 years talking about a school that never came to any form of fruition. So, you know, that's just what it is. I definitely wanted to put it out here. It's a 33rd degree sale. You know, you can get the Kicked Out of Heaven for $33 right now, and it'll rush out to your door, of course, but it won't be signed. There won't be a certificate of authenticity or anything of that nature with the material. Okay. And yeah, so let's do it like that. If anybody got any questions, go ahead and say something, man. Engage instead of just sitting here and fucking looking at the screen, bro. Like, there's been a lot of people who have called me up and be like, yo, B, I watch your videos, but I watch a lot of other people's videos too, and their comment feed just goes up. You know, there's all types of people talking in the comments, but when it comes to my video, people are fucking dead and quiet. And it's been like that for years, and I'm just tired of the bullshit. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I don't need to lie to anybody. I'm tired of the bullshit. So, you know, that's how one gets treated. Whatever. I want to say, shouts out to Gene Cole and shouts out to Brent Booker, who put up some donations the other day. You know, and that was definitely well received. You know, but here I am now that I'm going ahead and laying out the cord of you know, taking some percentage off of the $50 sale, and now it's $33 because we gotta bleed. You know, I got an invitation to do a show with Zuna, and I'm gonna do that show, and that's probably gonna be my last, you know, interview or relation with anybody pertaining to African American subjects. You know, it's really, you know, lost cause scenario. You know, I never put myself in the position or the intention to lead everybody into the ocean or do no Million Man March. Has never been my mentality. I've never had that intention. You know, I did understand that when I started doing YouTube in Atlanta, one of the main reasons I started doing it is because niggas are embarrassing, and niggas' levels of intelligence is definitely embarrassing, and it puts us all at a fault. You know, that there's some innate nature with black people that they just think they're right by whatever the fuck they spew out of their mouth, and they don't feel as if they need to modify their intelligence or advance it with anything from the outer world. They just think they got some magical melanin that sparks in their fucking mind and they got the right answer to everything. And that's definitely not the case. So, you know, you can't build a cathedral. You can't build pyramids with that form of thinking, you know. So that's just what it is. I get the picture, you know. You know, I don't come here to chastise or beat up anybody. I'm definitely in being a father, you have to point out what's not good, and you have to look at what's not being done versus what is being done. You show appreciation towards what's being done, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of holes to fill when we're in the space of what we haven't done, and you need to point out and focus in on what hasn't been done, because we are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years behind. You dig? So that's just the case. But then at the same time, due to how Western civilization operates, you can individualize yourself and not really add yourself to the conglomerate. And that is the way the majority of people operate. And I guess when it comes to the black male, it's sort of safe for you to operate in that fashion and stay blind to the activity of other black males, especially what they're doing out here publicly, with the embarrassment of what our phenotype is, So that's just the bottom line. Does anybody have anything to say? Speak in the comments. If it's going to be dead energy, then I'm just going to go ahead and get the hell on. But just know that the 33-degree sale is going. It's for the Kicked Out of Heaven series. The most phenomenal series written in the 21st century pertaining to European history. The full title is Kicked Out of Heaven, The Untold History of the White Races from circa 700 to 1700 AD, Volume 1, 2, and 3. And it's going for $33 right now. You can get it online, and it will be shipped out of the door to your home immediately. I don't play games with business, and I'm probably one of the only black businesses that came out of the so-called conscious community that isn't being reported to the Better Business Bureau, and I haven't been reported. There's no complaints about none of my companies or anything of that nature, and I've been successful in that lane, and I've had a lot of happy customers from what I've done, and it's been a very good ride. With that, I definitely appreciate the experiences I've gained from it, but you just got to know when things have run its course, basically, and it's time to get back to the world and reality. And this is not a thorough reality, because at any given moment your channel can get shut down, and at any given moment you could be blocked or canceled on this internet thing. If I go over to and I definitely appreciate that. I'm gonna put that comment up. I definitely appreciate that. Shy from 400. We're gonna put that up here in a second. But yeah, that's just the truth of the situation. I'm not really going off of the way I feel, because I don't operate off of feelings. I operate off of what the facts are. And regardless of my word usage, or if I may sound ghetto, or if I sound professional, a lot of people like to put it in their mind that I'm of some ghetto background. For what reason? I don't know, because I'm a black male, I guess, and my voice isn't squeaky like some, like an NBA young boy or something. You know what I'm saying? So I get categorized in some weird way. I talk about sex in damn near all my books. So a lot of people may have developed some weird point of view on me because I've done that, but it's done in a medical fashion, and it's done in a fashion for progression, because obviously there's definitely a problem with the human race. If we go everywhere from China to America, that you're having reproduction issues, and the growth of the human race has definitely declined. So you have problems, and it needs to be approached, if we're going to quote unquote save humanity. But a lot of people don't give a fuck about saving humanity, and that was never really my intention from the get-go. My intention from the get-go was to solidify the family picture, and the family picture has to first be solidified by the individual, but nobody listens to nobody. It doesn't even matter if it is a family picture or not. Wives don't consider what their husbands say, they consider what their boss says. It's just a lot of fucked up paradigms, so and I don't want to be attached to any of those type of paradigms. I don't think that I live that way or make similar decisions in those capacities, nor do I join podcasts that's talking about, oh, what women are doing and what men are doing and complaining back and forth. I really think that is extremely immature, that is the status that the black race is at, or even the human race, especially with everything that we've been through when it comes to slavery, when it comes to jail, when it comes to cities being destroyed, when it comes to us being attacked, our elites being attacked, our professionals being attacked, and we still don't comprehend that there is some form of threat in existence that should be putting us into a position of loving each other. When it comes to finances, everybody's low, but everybody's trying to act like they're rich. It's a lot of confusion and a lot of cartoon Warner Brother bullshit with people's brains, and that's what they like. A lot of humans, for some reason, need some weird space of nothingness, and I don't know what that is. My brain doesn't operate like that, and it never will, and I'll never allow my children to think like that neither. They don't play in the realms of comic books and fucking, I mean, if they do, which they're studying comic books right now, we're trying to find collectibles, and turn that in collections, and get some money. You dig what I'm saying? Because all of that cartoon bullshit, man, is very dangerous for an individual that's out here by themselves. Lies are extremely dangerous. Relying on other people that do lie is extremely dangerous. For the solo rider. Self-preservation is definitely a rule in nature, but even your own family will lie to you and send you down the wrong road, all because they want to impose as if they don't know a thing. If you don't know a thing, just say you don't know. There's no reason to lead other people down a wrong path because you don't know some shit. Like, the emotion levels and the forms of communication and the pettiness is so high degree that I'll salute everybody to be on your P's and Q's and your square, and make sure that you only connect with people who are thoroughly genuine. And it's just like I had to explain to a couple of people recently, and I'll go ahead and drop this key for a lot of you. When you're dealing with a person that doesn't have a respect for history or anything in history, because when we say human history or world history, we're talking about a large scope of things. So you're not interested into Native Americans. You're not interested into, the Inuits and how they traveled through the ice in Greenland. You're not interested into igloos. You're not interested into pyramids. You're not interested into, how chocolate was made by the Mayans. You're not interested into how the conquistadors came over there and kicked everybody's ass. You're not interested into, how Nzinga, the African tribal queen, won several wars, and then also how she married a Christian, and her whole tribe got swallowed up. So you're not interested into ancient Egypt, Greek mythology. You're not interested into Rome. You're not interested into the medieval times. You're not interested into, African religions. Who is the Igbo? What is Yoruba? You're not interested into, is voodoo thorough? What was a zombie inside of voodoo? You're not interested into 1920 hairstyles and headdresses. You're not interested into anything that humans have done before you got here. Then guess what? That person does not have a respect for the history that they have with you. Okay, so if you do not have a generalized interest or respect or attachment towards any one thing that's in our history, anything from the Titanic sinking to submarines that were being used in World War II to, ancient Islamic swords to, the plagues to, the Japanese samurais to, Japanese geishas, what was going on with the Ming Dynasty, like there's so many different areas of human history to be interested into, or something that attach you and you can hold dear to your heart. Guess what? Those type of individuals will not have any form of respect towards the history that they have with you. And voila, from the result of that, we have the divorce rate. And from the result of that, we have a decline in human reproduction. And, our birth rate is in declination, sabotage, and People have more interest in tattoos, which is self-sabotage, and destruction, and than they do in any area of human history. So anybody who does not have any type of enjoyment, attachment, admiration, towards, or consideration towards any one area in human history, whether it's art, dance, singing, whatever, how instruments were made in ancient Egypt, whatever, there's too much stuff. Okay, dog breeding in ancient Germany. There's too much shit in history for you not to be attached to something. How did NASCAR start? What is the history of boxing? If you don't have one thing, this is too many areas in human history. If you do not have an attachment and a love for just one thing, then they will not have any attachment towards the relationship that they have with you. And these people will drop out and fall out like nothing, because there's no love towards history, and they have no love towards the history and the ups and downs and the smiles and the cries that they've had with you. So you better watch out with this shit when you're dealing with your mate, or when you're talking to somebody, then you have the intention to get into a relationship with them. You better watch out for this shit. This shit is very, very, very key. Very key. Okay? Because anybody who's here that's listening to me, you should have some liking towards intellect, towards philosophy, towards history, towards beauty, etiquette, and all of these things that are aligned with each other. If you do not have that, then buddy, they're gonna fall out. And that's where we have the divorce rate and everything else. So you better watch for that shit. It's very, very important. And that's why I sort of love the decision I made 20 years ago about if a person doesn't read nonfiction books, I won't even allow them in my life. We won't have no conversation. If I see you eating crab, fish, or any type of crustacean, we're not having any conversation. I won't deal with you in any format, because I understand that at any given moment, you are what you eat, and your bullshit is going to come out of your system. Just like shrimp, for instance. Shrimp is being farmed off of pig feces, but you don't investigate what you eat. You just like a fucking Neanderthal. So then you move like that. If that's how you move, then that's good for you. Do that. You know what I'm saying? But I can't allow that type of situation into my paradigm, and that's definitely why I have written the books that I have in the style that I have and put them out in the world, because I'm upset, I guess. I mean, I'm not really upset. It's just I'm disgusted. That's really the word. I'm not upset. I won't even allow myself to get into the area of upset and anger because of the many areas of human existence. The many areas of human existence that I've studied, if I get angry, shit will adjust. Shit will split. Some very dangerous shit can happen without me even doing any type of physical work towards it. You dig what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. Let's put up some comments here. The brother Shy from 400, he says he has 2 sets of Kicked Out of Heaven, colored and black and white. So the brother's been around since the beginning, because the black and white versions was years ago. That came out in 2016, 17. And all of my other books, and he's going to grab another. He's dedicated. He says he's going to grab another Kicked Out of Heaven set soon. Ain't nobody fucking with the work I put in. Salute. And that's my nigga in Birmingham, Alabama. I definitely appreciate it. And when it comes, if you're interested, when it comes to the whole the art company that I'm developing right now, or for those who are scattered across America or even the world, if you're interested in it, go do some research on it and hit me up, and I might have a position for you. You dig what I'm saying? Cooley Bully says right here, the word love gets its name from the word hook. Okay. And guess what? You're going to be hooked to something on this planet either way it goes. So find something to love and then let it kill you. because whatever you fall in love with is going to end up killing you anyways, and you're going to be hooked to something anyways. You're not, invincible. You do not have wings. You cannot fly to the heavens. So you're going to be hooked. You're going to be addicted. You're addicted to drinking water. You're addicted to sitting on the toilet. You're addicted to pissing. You're addicted to eating food. You're addicted to breathing air. Those are addictions automatically, if we're going to get down to the thorough line of what addictions are. So, whatever, you're going to be hooked on this planet anyways. I don't know what you're saying, Coolie Bully. Put that in a different language format, and I'll approach the question. If anybody else got any questions, go ahead and put them up here now. Like I said, I'm not going to be here that long today. I got some things to get into, but I definitely want to put it out that the 33rd degree sale is going. So if you want to be on the 33rd level of existence by understanding Western culture by its totality, that you can only get the kicked out of heaven, as you have to understand Masonry is all based off of Western culture. Is based off of white male decision making and Western culture. That's all Masonry is. That's all the alphabet is. That's all the number system, the numeral system is. The brother East Ender asks me, did I do some stuff about Tupac back in the day? What do you mean by that? I'll let you go ahead and elaborate a little bit more before I answer that question. So he has a worthless young man and an older knight of fine character seek the love of the same woman. Whom should she choose? I don't know. I'm not a woman. So I don't know what the fuck a woman, her decision-making structure is. I don't know. So if I did some stuff about Tupac back in the day on YouTube, I beatified and canonized Tupac as a saint. His feast day is April 4th. And that's one thing I did do, and it went uncontested. It's inside of the Kicked Out of Heaven Volume 3. He's in there. And besides, that is the continuation of what, the first introduction of medievalism to black culture came from Pac. Hence the name Machiavelli. Hence, that Machiavelli album, the 7-Day Theory, Illuminati, is a Catholic album. The first song on there is Hail Mary. Hail Mary is not a phrase or a term that is used in any other religion but Catholicism. I do believe he has another song on that album called Blasphemy, which blasphemy is also another Catholic term. Machiavelli is definitely the original Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli is definitely Catholic, because that was the time period in which he was alive, which was the 1500s in the medieval times. So he was the first to bring in the medieval. I didn't know, or I didn't really see that I was carrying on the explanation of the medieval as I did. Definitely connected from Pac. I'll never remove that or shy away from it. Pac's first introduction, where he indirectly was telling you Catholicism was the album Me Against the World. If you pay attention, I See Death Around the Corner, Dear Mama, Only Lord Knows, there's a lot. And then he had the cross on, the glasses, the etiquette was there. So, he was somebody was behind the scenes teaching him Catholicism on some very deep elements. And that is what was brought to you. But then again, Catholicism was never really brought towards, the African mind, because it's really a very complex system that the African mind don't have the complexity to comprehend. Usually, yeah, so that's what it is. They don't have complex thinking, because if they did have complex thinking, there would be far more engineers, far more architects, far more doctors, far more surgeons. There would be far more professional individuals of a multitude of different industries, and we would have a larger interest in a lot more industries than what we do. And what's going on inside of our universities. You know, we don't include ourselves in those spaces. And like a homie told me earlier, is like, you know, black people think that having structure is some white man shit. You know, black people think having answers to questions or developing conclusions to situations is white man shit. You know, and shouts out to my nigga Illisopical, who stated that, and you know, it floored me, and that's why, you know, I have conversations with consistently I have conversations with all my folk, because our last generation of black people tried to promote a lot of silence, and silence is going to get you fucked up. We're not in a position to be silent amongst each other. There's a lot of discovery that we have to uncover when it comes to how we raise our children, when it comes to our own personal traumas and things that have happened in our life, and how to go about these things in a better fashion. We need to share with each other. Lately, there's been a lot of black males calling me up, asking me questions about, you know, their relationship and the rearing of children. And I give them the most balanced answers that I can, you know, and it's free consultation, you know. But then again, I do have to be very weary about those individuals who come from my audience group, and they just come around trying to stick around their nose to try to find something to report on. There's a lot of demonic activity within the black brain, and we have to understand that stupidity is equal to evil. So stupidity is equal to evil. The lack of experience is equal to evil. You must understand that. You know, that a dumbass is evil, period. Okay. And that's not to say that intelligent people can't be evil, you know, but intelligent people would definitely place things upon logic and reasoning before making thorough decisions, which, you know, a true father or a true man is definitely going to base their decisions on how it affects everybody and that they take care of, or who's around them, you know, that they're directly connected to, you know. And a lot of people don't think in that fashion. They think in an individualistic fashion, and they're only worried about their immediate security, you know. And sometimes you got to do that when you are by yourself and you have no assistance, you know. And not to say that I don't have assistance, but I mean, in reality, I don't. I do everything on my dolo, and it's definitely been like that for the past 2-3 years. So, you know, I got to change course with things, you know. So the days of my ending on this YouTube are definitely coming near, because I'm changing industries. You know, I feel way more empowered selling blue chip art to millionaires and billionaires and being in that realm, versus doing this rap shit and trying to prove to a bunch of fucking, you know, it doesn't have value. It doesn't have value. And that's just the bottom line, you know. And I'm not going to try to fight an uphill battle to express my talents. That is the largest area of retardation to me. Rap has definitely fallen into a space of, if you're trying to be a rapper, you're either insane or retarded, from the amount of reports that we've gotten for those who are quote unquote successful rappers, and they don't get paid from their label. They got to fight the promoters. They got to fight their managers. They're getting sued by the audience. The audience wants to chase them down and rip them apart. There's mass sleep deprivation. You know, you're not, when it comes to traveling, you know, you don't know whose money is being spent. You know, nah, I didn't hear the Clips album. The Clips song that they put out, though, I think So Be It, that was hard shit. And I really love the way a lot of niggas took that So Be It, his verses, and slapped it on some old school rap beats. Oh, that shit was knocking. That shit was knocking. But no, I didn't hear the Clips album. I'm very glad that the Clips got back together, and you know, Malice went ahead and put his bullshit to the side and got back with his brother, and you know, they made some phenomenal art, and I do appreciate that. You know, Pusha T should have ever been out there by his solo anyways, but he struggled and he made it. And that is definitely, the survivor's guilt, the survival's right, and he made it. So, but no, I didn't listen to the Clips album. Rap doesn't have a value to me for me to even sit down and listen to anybody's album anymore. I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. There's no form of progression. There's no form of information that you're going to give me that's going to assist within my scenario. And then the way black males have embarrassed themselves across the board, the value of rap is completely depleted. Especially with the announcements recently that has been made by Kanye and other individuals, and the way there's been all this internal battling and fighting. It's just a bunch of children in a fucking sandbox, a bunch of children at the fucking park. I saw a clip today talking about the sacred Wu-Tang album ain't gonna be heard till 2103. Like, who the fuck is like, bro, that's 80 years from now. Who the fuck is gonna listen to your shit? You won't even be remembered 80 years from now. All the fucking members of Wu-Tang will be dead by time 2100 comes around. Like, have you lost your fucking mind? But this is the retardation that a lot of niggas thinking, and I'm cool. I'm good, B. I'm good. I don't think in them formats. I never will. I don't like it. I'm cool. Peace to the nigga ODB. I definitely hate the way everybody treated the nigga ODB. You know what I'm saying? But rest in peace to ODB. Rest in peace to DMX. And people shitted on DMX. Rest in peace to the Nipsey Hussle. All of them niggas is Catholic niggas. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, remember ODB called himself Baby Jesus. Okay, you remember that shit. You remember DMX got on stage and prayed. Okay, so and held up the cross, Dark Man X. You understand? So all of that is Catholic talk, bro. And a lot of people don't know because Negro mind ain't open to no Catholicism, even though in every major city across the country, you got to go get your black books at what shrine they call it? They call it the Shrine of the Black Madonna. But you didn't know about how many 120 Black Madonnas that's located all over the planet. I presented that to you inside the Kicked Out of Heaven. You dig? And when I even brought it up to higher to individuals in the conscious community, like the Professor Griff and to Sonnet, and it was like, oh yeah, Brother Ashwar Kwesi talked about the Black Madonnas, man. He brought that forth. Oh yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no literature that is more explanatory or expansive as mine, or valued. Okay. Nobody in the conscious movement has material that has been valued by the outside world, okay, or peers that is in the thousands of dollars. Each volume of the Kicked Out of Heaven has been valued at $3,214, and it's set at that value rate at sale for over a year. It's not at that price anymore, but that is the pinnacle of what has been hit in that zone. You dig what I'm saying? Because the information is well put together and is very thorough and can't be contested by any type of scholar. You can go get niggas from Yale if you want to. Go get some Harvard scholars, to test me on what I've stated about the medieval times, and also the sources in which I got the information, which the majority of the sources in that literature are firsthand accounts coming from Daniel Defoe, coming from Giovanni Boccaccio, and a lot of other individuals from that time period, inclusive with the paintings that's inside there. So, I didn't play with information. I don't like the way people play with information or play with their lives. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get it right now, the 33rd degree sale is going. You go to kickedoutofheaven.com and you will get all 3 volumes for $33. You dig what I'm saying? So go give somebody an early birthday present, or just give somebody a present because you appreciate your relationship with that person. Okay? And what you need to understand is that I definitely didn't design the material for you to have to sit down and read the entire material. The material is actually designed for the children of the next generations. You dig what I'm saying? And the reason being, that's why I put a lot of those pictures in there. So you let the book sit around, you will walk into the room and you will see the children flipping through the book looking at the pictures. And that is really the main point, which is going to build them into, reading the material later on in life, Yes, I did know that. Cooley has a question here. Is like, did you know that the book The Negro Beast in the Image God was a response to the book Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was the second book in the 19th century after the Bible? Yes. I did know that, and I also know that the individual who wrote The Negro Beast or In the Image of God doesn't have a birth date or a death date and has disappeared. So, and there's a lot of those type of individuals in the files of history, that just did some great work here and then just disappeared. And whatever work they did adjusted. But I thought the book cover was phenomenal for the cover of an album. Maybe it was put in place for me to use it as a cover of an album back in the 1900s. Who knows? Because I've definitely ran into a lot of stuff that has been put in place specifically for me hundreds of years ago before I even got to it. Motherfuckers knew I was going to be here before I got here, basically. And I know that may sound arrogant or whatever, but it is what it is, But this is where we're at. This is where I'm going to be until things change, if some things change, yeah. So, if anybody got any questions, go ahead and lay them out now. I'm probably finna go ahead and skedaddle. Go to theblackmansbible.com. The raffles are still open, but no raffle has sold out all the tickets, so no raffle is being presented with any winners being announced. So if you want to get the books, if you want to get all 9-10 books, you go Kicked Out of Heaven, volume 1, 2, 3, The Black Man's Bible, and the Ethereal Law paperback, and then the 4 ebooks for $100. You can get that all at kickedoutofheaven.com, and you can get the 33rd degree sale also on kickedoutofheaven.com, where you can get all 3 volumes of the Kicked Out of Heaven for $33, and it's going now. Okay, so get involved, get to it. Don't forget to go to millenniumdvds.com if you want to get a large pack of DVDs. When it comes to our great scholars like the Bobby Hemmonds and the Phil Valentine, so on and so forth. So we do have a question here that I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge, and then if you have any more questions, you better put them up now, and I will definitely pay attention to them and put them up here. So let me see here. Do I think that the recent floods are man-made or just poor infrastructure? That's a very good question. We are definitely in a status of poor infrastructure. You can see that with a lot of the complications that's going on with our planes. The planes haven't been rehabilitated. A lot of bridges have not been restructured and refurbished. There's a lot of our buildings have not been refurbished. So that would also align with dams or any other infrastructures that we got that's assisting with our upholding society. So there's a large possibility that our infrastructure is too weak. Nobody is refurbishing it, and dams have broken, levees have broken, and water has fulfilled society. There's floods, but once again, that goes to our lack of paying attention, and that is also reliant upon our lack of inclusion of what's going on in our locale. Okay, what's going on with our with our industrialism in society and our infrastructure. So there's a large possibility that it could be poor infrastructure. If the floods are man-made, and if you're referring to any form of cloud seeding or weather manipulation, cloud seeding and weather manipulation is definitely proven to be a factual situation. Is cloud seeding or weather manipulation superior to what Mother Earth can do? I don't think so. When we look through history, there's definitely a mass amount of events where there was no cloud seeding and where there was no weather manipulation going on, and the world and the earth kicked the humans' ass. okay, flooded, earthquakes, volcanoes, a mass amount of things. Nobody ever says anything about weather manipulation when the volcanoes blow, and the volcano is far more dangerous than what a flood could do. You dig what I'm saying? If we can see the evidence of that with Pompeii. So what ashes get put into the air, or where lava is going, and things of that nature, who knows? There's volcanoes here in America nobody talks about. Will they erupt? We don't know. There's one in Yellowstone that's causing problems right now, and they say that has a high possibility of blowing. If it does blow, they say there's enough lava within inside that one volcano that about 70 to 80% of America will be damaged, destroyed, affected, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I don't know if it's man-made. I would never put any type of man-made instrument or its capacity to be superior to what Mother Earth can do, or Father Time can do, or what, any of the gods can do. You understand? I will never, never, ever, ever put your weak ass infrastructure and your fucking tinfoil and your electricity over what the earth can do. That's one thing I'll never do. So if it's man-made, I don't know. We know the dams are man-made. So, and if you take the dam down, then the city is flooded. So who knows, bro? I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is to pay very close attention to where you live and what's around you, what infrastructures are around you, and make proper decisions about where you're located if you want to survive. Because at the end of the day, the true question here is existence worth fighting for? Is existence worth fighting for? When the value and the body shape of a lot of women has definitely went downhill. Everybody's fighting. Everybody wants to go to divorce court, and everybody is definitely in a situation of being haughty and feel as if they're rich, and trying to align themselves with social status symbols so they can so-called shit on their own neighbor and those that they closely know. The immature, petty mind of the human wants to be worshipped wherever they go. They do all this name dropping and Instagram bragging as if that's going to have some good form of result. They come up to you and say, oh yeah, my auntie was the babysitter for Ashanti and all that other shit. And what the fuck does that do? What does that mean? You telling me? I don't give a fuck. Okay, well, you expect me to shine your fucking shoes or some shit? What are you looking for when you tell me that? It's amazing. And then the next time a person comes up to me talking all that stupid shit about who they connected to, I'm like, and what am I supposed to do with that information? Why is that important? But if you was to respond like that, it'll splice their whole brain into so goddamn hard. Nigga look at you and wouldn't even be able to form words in order to respond, because it's such a high level of dumbass, and they didn't even know they were in such a high level of dumbass. I don't give a fuck if your cousin is LeBron James. I don't give a fuck if your uncle is Allen Iverson. What the fuck is that going to do for me? What the fuck what type of results are you looking for? You see what I'm saying? The level of thought is so immature. It's so inferior. Why be aligned to that, level? I'm a progressive thinker. So tell me something that where we can add together. I have the fucking, the meat. You have the motherfucking bread. We make sandwiches. That's how the game goes, and if we're not in a progressive thinking format, then I don't see what the point is. But you could definitely see that people don't have any intelligence or any interest in their mind or anything to thoroughly express and share with another person, because they devolve to these dumbass conversation lines, that really it has no true essence for any form of growth or expansion in anything, so that's just where people are at. If you didn't go to college, there's nothing wrong with that, but you do have a high degree of responsibility to self-educate, and if you have the opportunity to go to a university, go, because there's nothing out here in the world that's going to assist you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the bottom line. So yeah, y'all go hit the 33rd degree sale up on the kickedoutofheaven.com. You know, hopefully I'll see y'all on Monday. If I get on Monday, you know, definitely go to the websites, theblackmansbible.com, millenniumdvds.com, thegod720.com. Look at all these websites I got up and all the shit I got to maintain, man. You know, so this world is, you know, I'm going to have to close this out. I'm ready for a new chapter in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So hit up the sales. Hit me up if you want to. thegod720@gmail.com. Maybe we can make $1 million together. Maybe we don't do shit together. Who knows? You know, but one thing I do know is that I'm not going to sit around and expect for magical bullshit to happen. One thing about this dimension, you have to make it happen or it's not going to happen at all. You dig what I'm saying? So that's definitely the case. I'll put up some links here. Donate. Hit up the Cash App. I'm about to post it right now. You know, you're supposed to keep me alive. I keep you alive. And that's just what it is. You know, a lot of people want to see the comical 720 back. This ain't no comical existence, you know, and I'm not put in a space where I have the allowance or the to be comical and to laugh with y'all. It's the energy ain't there, you know, and you're not providing that energy. This is not a space to be this is not a desired space anymore, you know. I just keep it 1,000, man. No, the $33 is for the 3 physical copies. Now I'll be sending it to your door. What is AOW? Gems for Hems. What is AOW? You know, and no, I mean, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you did that. Can I add the PDF to it? Let me see here. I don't even think let me see. Yeah, I don't think I set it up to add the PDF to it, but I definitely can for later. So yeah, you'll get the PDFs too. You'll get the PDFs, all 3 PDFs, and you'll get the physical copies of the Kicked Out of Heaven. Who cares? You know. So yeah, I can do that, you know, and I want you to do it for yourself. You know, that's why I put this information out here, you know, and so everybody can look good, you know, and not be fucked with. But people don't have that mentality, you know. So let me go ahead and put this up here. There's the link. Go to the music, go get the books, go get the products. Because I'm not going to sit up here and try to sell you dreams. I'm going to give you some real products, you know. I'm going to give you some stuff, you know. And that's just what it is. Okay. So yeah, so check it out. Check out all the raffles at theblackmansbible.com. And if we got some serious shit going, we got some people that moves in a level of seriousness like I move in a level of seriousness, then we'll be able to progress in some things. You dig what I'm saying? But as of right now, I definitely appreciate everybody who showed up. And I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. You know, let me see here. If you have any songs that you would like to request, you better do it right now. Now I already know what I'm about to play. So y'all let me know. I'm out of here. Go to the websites, man. Hit me up if you want to, and I'm always wide open for progression with everybody. If you want to stay hidden behind your screen name, then do that. You know, if you just want to stay a fan, then I guess that's what was designated for your birth. You know, I don't know. So yeah, let me know what it is. I'm out of here. Peace.
Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. An angel told me I got too much sex appeal. I put the shine on my horns and said that's real. I just be trying to chill. People looking at me like I'm a 5-course meal. They got skeletons in their closet and guts to spill. Then they trying to make deals, going off how they feel. But when they can't match with you, shit gets real. They some little eyes monkeys slipping on banana peels. Then they getting hella thirsty over Instagram reels. You brag on your bag and emotions do kill. The devotion for meals cause commotion until you get rich or die trying, or turn bitches start crying. And gotta blame your failures on everybody that's lying. Ignore what's in store, got a loan and start buying. Your focus was stunting, then it turned into nothing. Now you trying to hold something. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. 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 Smiles are just miles of lies. A beautiful appearance when they ugly inside. They drinking on spirits so they soul can hide. The bride of pride. While you riding high, they'll slip cyanide in your martini and your apple pie. They call you a big meanie just to satisfy they status of being broke. Lend them some dope when they need something to smoke, cause dollars won't make them woke. Only the slavery rope. Besides the dances and jokes, we hardly spoke. My whip became a spaceship, now they can't cope. They wrote 1 million songs and the bank said nope. Gotta start from scratch, but they heart's not attached. Gotta play it smart in the trap for the catch. Everybody turned rap, now they need some crumbs to snatch. Only take one bad apple to fuck up the batch, and that is a fact. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. 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 Gotta watch what your girls say. Anything that comes out that mouth is not for play. If they don't walk what they talk, stay out the way. These broke drunks ain't got no bed, so where do they lay? You love that bitch pussy and that cat is a stray. And she hissing at every position you get in to start winning. Whispering to your minions thinking she know. Thoughts amongst the demons is how the traitors do grow. But the clear things quicker and the haters are slow. They got nowhere to go. Now they begging to get back in when kicked out of heaven. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. Jealousy and envy when hate becomes friendly. This the realest fucking shit I'll ever say in my life. This the realest fucking shit you'll ever hear on the mic. Better be quicker than lights or get 25 to life. If your moves ain't precise, start singing for Christ. But Jesus won't feed us if a nigga about to starve. Been singing the same song and frontin' behind them bars. Under my feet is the lava, above my head the stars. Where the fuck is hell and heaven? I'm compelled with lessons. Like the shells in my weapon, I repel the stressing. I inhale the setting as I'm dollar reflecting. Just a scholar inspecting every movement and function. Gentlemen sipping Louis 14 over discussion. And the funds that I'm trusting make my guns start busting over financial concussions. A hoe with self-destruction without a pin's instructions. I'm talking with some blue eyes while I'm at the luncheon. Them cheeks start blushing, every penny start rushing. I gotta love the sound of you roaches I be crushing. This is royal flushing, I will see you on your bluffing. Niggas hate the way I move, maneuver like it's nothing. Go ahead and grab your bitch, I got the key for your cuffing. So please keep your respect, no need for the cussing. If I gotta teach you manners, you'll end up on the camera. You will be a prime example, poster boy on the banner. Yeah, you goons are fucking goons, illiterate with no grammar. Nigga, if it's not Godfather, why even bother? Work smarter, not harder, or end up as a martyr. I am married to this game, my clock and doze in a garter belt, and that's why it's harder felt. And going broke will make any real nigga start to melt. Can't mess up the velvet, I can't mess up the leather. Smoke a blunt of this West Coast and I get it together. Study banks and stocks to get some game on my cheddar. Then I study wars to prepare for any contenders. Just a real nigga trying to make my life better. That's an everyday job. Being happy's a mission and crackers making it hard. Is the Negro a beast or is the image of God? Did slave blood taste like honey when they back got flogged? We was treated like dogs. Niggas singing the blues, dancing in tap shoes. Now I tap on the shoulder of my chauffeur. I don't even gotta speak, he knows where to pull over. Money makes the summer colder, keeps the winter warm. Thoughts come from darkness, so when you speak is born. My core I feel like the Lord with a crown of thorns. Hell have no fury, just like a woman scorned. That's why they keep their legs open till they pussy's torn. Never kick the hornet's nest, cause the stinkers swarm. I'm all the gods combined to one in physical form. Bitch, nigga. Yeah. That's the guy 720 for you.